it is time for our co-host for Women in Leadership today, a behavioral researcher and founder of Influenceo Global, and someone who helps women change their mindset to be better leaders. Welcome to Dr. Shadé Zahrai. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. It's so exciting to be here.
You know what? I have been following you for a very long time, so this is a major fangirl moment for me because you somewhat truly inspired me to continue with the natural leadership skills that I knew I had, but didn't have the guts to make the move. So I wanted to ask you, how did you start your journey? Because you influence and help so many women around the world to take that step. How come you took yours?
Well, firstly, Nimi, wonderful to hear that I had some part to play. That makes me feel so wonderful. So how I started, I've always been fascinated by human potential. Ever since I was young, I have been fascinated by what makes someone thrive versus someone else struggle. And it was my own challenges with self-doubt that really prompted me to study what is this difference between these two, especially when it comes to women, because we have all these additional challenges that we're facing. And so I just spent the last 5 years doing PhD research, really exploring the role that our thoughts play in shaping how we show up.
Wow.
And so that's brought me to where I am, and I'm just so incredibly passionate to do this work.
Yeah, just wanted to say you've got a wonderful voice as well.
Yeah.
It's very, isn't
Thank
it?
you.
It's very calming, isn't it?
Yeah.
So who mentored you then? Because obviously that's a major thing, like mentorship. Like Libby just said that she's been watching you and listening to you for many years. But who was your mentor?
What a great question.
Yeah.
So I totally agree, mentorship is so important. When I think about my own mentor, I think I had an unofficial mentor in my mother. She was seeing her prioritize raising the children and then find a way to pursue her business aspirations, which was to run a small business from home, to become a beauty therapist, a beautician, a technician of hair removal, which is great because, we're Persians by background, so that was very helpful. But seeing how she just so graciously handled life and the challenges that came with it, and all of the values that she instilled in me, she became, I guess, my greatest unofficial mentor. And then it's only later that I've realized just how important it is to surround ourselves with people who believe in us and see our potential. What we know from research is that the people we spend time with can either allow us to lift our abilities and rise up to the expectations they have for us, or to completely live down to them. It's called the Pygmalion and the Golem effects. And we don't realize just how important it is. So whether it's a formal mentor, whether it's just the people you surround yourself with, the people in your circle, they are influencing you more than you realize.
Wow.
And that's what we notice with mentors. They're so confident that we are not surprised that they're acting on what they want to do. But you believe that confidence comes after acting. So how is that? Because I'm very nervous before I do anything.
Yes, and that's a very, very common experience, to feel nervous and anxious before we start. So there's this common misconception that we must feel confident, we must feel ready before we take action. And that's why a lot of people are waiting. They're waiting for the confidence to arrive. They're waiting to feel ready. But readiness is not an emotion. And confidence, when we look at the literature and the research, confidence actually comes once you take the action. So it's the result of something, the output, because you have proof you can do it, which means there's something else that we need first. It's not confidence, it's actually trust. It's trust in ourselves, trust that we can handle whatever comes our way. Whether we mess up, whether we fail, whether there's uncertainty, if we trust we can handle it, we will take the action. That then builds what's called self-efficacy, which is the belief that we can do the thing, and then that builds confidence, and we've created this beautiful loop to create our own momentum.
So would you say that is a common challenge in women leadership, is the trust aspect, or what would you say is that common challenge?
Absolutely. One of the greatest challenges that we see is women will often wait to feel ready. Whether it's waiting to feel ready to apply for something, to put their hands up for something, to take action on a business idea, to get visible on social media. They will often distract themselves with preparation and planning, and again, wait to feel ready, and then what happens is they often don't feel ready, so then they don't take the action, so they don't get the visibility, they miss out on the opportunities, and then it reinforces a belief that maybe I'm not cut out for this. But when we can see that, okay, this is just maybe a behavioral tendency that we have, when we recognize that if you look at the word confidence, actually, it comes from the Latin con and fidere, which means with trust. So actually, if you can just show up with trust and do the thing, you will build the evidence, the proof points that you can do it, And again, that's how you then see the results.
So I feel like I'm going into my female side then, because I'm very much like that.
I'm glad this is resonating with you, Lane.
Yeah, embrace it, Lane. There's one thing is that first step, that first action that we're speaking about. There's another thing being consistent then with it. Let's talk about that next step, because there may be a lot of women at home thinking, okay, I've taken that first step, but you know what, it's really exhausting to just keep showing up. Where does that resilience come from, and can resilience be a skill?
100%.
Okay.
100%. Resilience is like any muscle. The more you practice it, the better you get at it. And consistency is one of the hardest things because it requires discomfort. So we have this model that we like to share. It's that if you can experience discomfort and build your tolerance for discomfort, and also increase your visibility, which means how many people are seeing you doing the work, putting in the work, whether that's going to networking events, whether that's finding other opportunities to connect with people or be seen on social media, your opportunities exponentially grow. There is a direct correlation between how much discomfort you face and how much visibility you're willing to gain and how much luck you experience.
Wow.
You attract luck when you're putting yourself out there consistently, and it's acknowledging that it's going to be uncomfortable. The greatest tip that we've ever found is that you want to make that idea of showing up as small as possible. As small as possible, so that it's almost impossible not to do that thing. And then once you do it, you're getting the proof point, you're getting that dopamine hit in your brain, you're feeling that momentum, and it's so much easier to stay consistent. And we know when you're more consistent, you feel more empowered. It's then easier to become more consistent, and you can scale up whatever it is that you're doing.
Because I think that there's misconception about, say, the word manifestation. I think it's a big buzzword and people throw it around a lot and people think it's quite fluffy. But what you're saying is there's an actual science behind intentional moves. So people at home, what can those intentional moves be in their context, in their industry, whatever it is that they do, to continue showing up for yourself every day? Is there a top 3 that you could give us?
Top 3, absolutely. So coming back to this idea of manifestation, as you say, a lot of buzzwords, a lot of questioning around, is it actually accurate, is it not? When we look purely at the science, we know how powerful it is to have a vision. Have that vision in mind. Where do you want to go? You need to know where you're headed to feel the motivation to want to move there. We also know from research that if you only have that end goal and you're just manifesting that end goal and you don't take steps to get there, it actually saps your energy. And you feel like there's too great a gap between where you are now and where you want to be. So what you then also need to do, and this is something we forget about, the second step is to take the action, but even more than that, anticipate every obstacle that could get in your way. A lot of people say don't think about things that could go wrong, just focus on the success. We look at research and we say, no, think about everything that could get in your way and then what you will do if that happens. So that if the obstacle, or rather when the obstacle arises, because it probably will, you've planned for it, you've prepared for it, you know what to do. And then you can take that action. And you are so much more likely to take action and then to actually achieve the goal. And so when it comes to manifestation, it's be very clear on where you're going, very clear on what could get in your way, and then take the actions every single day to help you get there.